Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Bashem, Makakadash. On this in double honors of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'm saying much peace, love, and salutations to you. Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and truth. This is the brother Ariala. And I'm coming back at you with part 2 of the series of Think and Grow Kingdom. Think and Grow Kingdom. The first part we talked about desire. Basically a purpose for what we're fighting for. Desiring the kingdom of heaven, desiring immortality, desiring that promise that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua had given to the nation of Israel, and that pushing you forward. The second part of that that I want to go into is faith, and this is the chapter 3 in the book of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And what I'm taking is some of these concepts that he makes towards entrepreneurship or growing riches in the world. And what we're talking about is growing riches in the spirit and growing storing up those treasures in heaven. And one of the large components of that is faith. And so I wanted to touch on some of these points. I've just got some points that I highlighted as I read this book, and I got some points out of the scripture that I want to make to kind of correlate with some of the things that Napoleon Hill said in this book. Lord willing, this is edifying. And of course, you Akim that have points and precepts, please, follow up with a video or place them in the comment board. With no further ado, I'm going to start with reading here in the 3rd chapter of Think and Grow Rich. And it's in the headline is faith. It says, visualization of and belief in attainment of desire, or what we're seeking, which is the kingdom. It says the second step towards riches, which we're translating into the kingdom, right? It says faith is the head chemist of the mind. When faith is blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration, translates it into its spiritual equivalent, and transmutes it to infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. Okay, so basically he's talking about how when you blend faith with your thinking, it's basically picked up in the spirit world, in your mind, and that connection that we have with the spiritual world, man, and you are able to communicate with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You can't do that without faith. All right, so basically faith is that activating belief with the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And we see that in the scriptures so many times where Yahushua is teaching the disciples that you can do these things through faith. You can have access to all of these desires that you want through faith. Okay, and so he's here, Napoleon Hill is telling the entrepreneur, so to speak, you got to believe in what you're trying to, you got to believe that you're going to achieve what you desire. And how much more so does that mean for us to desire this kingdom? Okay, so with that, of course, one of the most famous scriptures here you pull up is Hebrews the 11th chapter in the first verse. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, or things that you desire. So faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Okay, for by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen, were not made of things which do appear. Okay, so that's power right there. That's absolute power. Now, you can skip. Let me show you. When you go into the book of Hebrews, the 10th chapter, the chapter before that is leading you into that 11th chapter, and it says this. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 22, it says, let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. Okay, so many times when we come into this truth, or as we go through the process of our walk in this ministry, our faith is shaken with doubt or disbelief, or just we don't know, or uncertainty by other disbelievers, or about something that might happen to you, or whatever, man. So that's a constant battle that you always have to fight. And this is something that Napoleon Hill kind of talks about, with you always have to have repetition in your subconscious mind, building up your faith. Okay, so I'm gonna grab another point out of this book that I want you brothers to consider. Let me see if I can grab it. Okay. Right here he says, repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntarily development of the emotion of faith. It says, perhaps the meaning may be made clearer through the following explanation as to the way men sometimes become criminals. Stated in the words of a famous criminologist, when men first come into contact with crime, they abhor it. If they remain in contact with crime for a time, they become accustomed to it and endure it. If they remain in contact with it long enough, they finally embrace it and become influenced by it. All right? It says this is the equivalent of saying that any impulse of thought which is repeatedly passed on to the subconscious mind is finally accepted and acted upon by the subconscious mind, which proceeds to translate that impulse into its physical equivalent by the most practical procedure available. Meaning, if you constantly are saying something in your mind, you're gonna live it out. If you allow yourself to be in an atmosphere of doubt, of faithlessness, if you're constantly being negative and being in a hopeless state, that's what you're gonna produce in your life. So that's what Yahushua, and a lot of times, was telling the disciples to stop doing. He was saying, do things with faith. Okay? And we're going to touch on that in some of the scriptures here. But I want to take a few more points out of this book, and then we're going to highlight some scriptures that show the point. Okay? When you keep reading here, it says, this is the equivalent. It says, in connection with this, consider again the statement, all thoughts which have been emotionalized, given feeling, okay, and mixed with faith, begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent or counterpart. The emotions or the feelings or the feeling portion of thoughts are the factors which give thoughts vitality, life, and action. The emotions of faith, love, and sex are, when mixed with any thought impulse, give it greater action than any of these emotions can do singly. Okay? Alright, so he's just saying everything that you do must be mixed with faith. Now, when you read in the scripture, here in Mark the 11th chapter and the 22nd verse, it says, and Yahushua answering saith unto them, have faith in the Most High. Okay? For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Okay, but you gotta have faith. It says, therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Okay, faith and belief is the key to manifesting Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's will on the planet Earth. The Most High is looking for those body of men that are going to come out and proclaim their faith and belief in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and fervently ask for the return of the Lord and for us to be saved out of here, okay? So I'm going to skip down and I'm going to make this point right here. The next section here, it says, faith is a state of mind which may be induced by autosuggestion. All right, now when we're saying autosuggestion, that goes into prayer, you know, or saying something over and over again that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you know, believing in it. All right. So I just want to pull this out, you know, just to highlight what that means. That faith is a state of mind which may be induced by auto-suggestion. It says, James 1:5, it says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask the Most High, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, not wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. Okay? And I believe he uses that point in this book. Okay? And it says, for let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. Okay? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You see that? All right, so let's go back, and I want to read down in this section called Faith is a State of Mind which may be induced by auto-suggestion. All right, it says, all down the ages, the religionists have admonished struggling humanity to have faith in this, that, and other dogma or creed, but they have failed to tell people how to have faith. They have not stated that faith is a state of mind, and that it may be induced by self-suggestion. It says, in language which any normal human being can understand, we will describe all that is known about the principle through which faith may be developed, where it does not already exist. It says, have faith in yourself, faith in the infinite. Before we begin, you should be reminded again that faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. Okay, the foregoing sentence is worth reading a second time, and a third and a fourth. It is worth reading aloud. Okay, faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches, or the gaining of a kingdom. Right, that's the starting point. It's faith. Faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. Faith is the element, the chemical which, when mixed with prayer, gives one direct communication with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, or what he calls infinite intelligence. Faith is the element which transforms the ordinary vibration of thought, okay, vain thoughts, created by the finite mind of man, into the spiritual equivalent. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used by man. Every one of the foregoing statements is capable of proof. All right, the proof is simple and easily demonstrated. It is wrapped up in the principle of auto-suggestion. Okay, and then he talks about going into looking into that. I'm gonna skip down real quick.